Hello everybody, welcome to Dude with a Fork. My name is Ken. On tonight's episode of Ken Cooks Stuff, I'm making quesadillas. Now I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I need to get a quesadilla pan, and it's some fancy electric gadget that sits on your countertop and makes a quesadilla once a year. My thought is always on kitchen gadgets that it should be able to do more than one thing unless it's highly specialized like a bread maker. So I'm showing you how I make quesadillas in a regular old frying pan. It's quick, it's easy, it just takes three simple ingredients: tortillas, cheese, and in this case red pepper flakes, which you can omit if you don't like the heat, which would make it two ingredients: just flour, tortillas, and cheese. And before we get started here, yes, you can probably do this with a corn tortilla. I think I have in the past. It just works out better with flour tortillas. So if you've got some flour tortillas and some cheese, you're ready to make some quesadillas. And the nice thing about this is you can also do this ahead of time and put them in the freezer. And I talk about that a little bit at the end of the video. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a frying pan here. It's an ordinary it's a cheap frying pan. I bought it at Menards. It's a little on the thin side. It has a ceramic coating that's not Teflon. Got a little bit of oil heating up in it. I bought a digital thermometer today, so let's see how hot that sucker is. These things are pretty cool. It's getting up to 370. I don't know if you can see that in the screen very well. This camera doesn't focus on up close very well. It has to be far away. So we're getting up around 400 degrees. I've got this on medium high. If you have an electric stove that you're having trouble figuring out, one of these is not a bad idea. The discrepancy between the large burners and the small burners is really something. That's why I bought this. And this thing sent me back, I think, about $15.99 plus taxes. So let's see where we are now. 426, 429. So yeah, it's still heating up a little bit. I turned it down just a little bit. So, two things here. Only three ingredients tonight, and I'm not counting oil because you probably have oil in the house. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my first tortilla down, and yeah, you can tell by the crispy sound that it's getting a little too hot. And I'm going to lay down some slices of sharp cheddar. I mean, normally I would use grated cheese if I had it on hand, but I didn't. I'm hungry. I don't feel like grating cheese, so I said I'm just going to make some super thin slices, and we're going to call it good. And I'm going to overlap that one a little bit because it was kind of thin on one side, and that one's kind of thick on one side. So there we go. I'm going to put that down and let it get a little melty, and I've got two extra slices left over, so I'm going to eat one. I'm going to go grab some red pepper flakes, and we'll get this thing going. Now, if you had some leftover chicken, you could heat it up and throw it in here. I don't have any on hand just to think about. I just want a simple quesadilla, folks. So that probably did get a little hot, so I'm going to put this side on and grab, if I can find it, this will work. Let's see how that other side is looking. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this side. You don't want to use too much oil to begin with because these tortillas are sponges for oil. So, and you can actually do this without oil. It tends to dry out the tortillas a little bit. I think maybe you like that kind of, I don't know what you call it, baked, I guess like a baked tortilla. So, and you don't need to use oil. If you want, you can use butter. I mean, you've already got a dairy product in there, right? You could use bacon grease, whatever you want. Okay, so we're going to flip this sucker over. Okay. And this is going to be done in no time flat. This is a very quick snack, or in the case of tonight, a very quick meal. So, I'm just going to... And of course, you know, you can tell you got... these are not cut out tortillas, they're rolled out because you got two of them that are different sizes and shapes. So, I'm going to wait for that bottom one, and just like, I think I slid one over a little bit, but it doesn't matter, it's all going to eat. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and the cheese is getting nicely melted. And just like a pancake, you know, you flip a pancake over, the two sides don't look alike, we're going to get the same thing here. So, and that's poofing up too, which is a good sign. Okay, settle down. Okay, and there's a decent amount of crispy on the other side. I'll show you. So maybe I'll give it just another minute. Well, this one's actually a little crispier than I wanted, but I usually don't film while I'm cooking, so that's getting really puffy. I always like it when tortillas do that. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I turn off the stove, and I'm going to put this on a plate on a paper towel. Okay, so there's a paper towel on this plate, and I'm just going to put my quesadilla on there and press it down a little bit just to absorb a little bit of that surface oil, and flip it over. I don't want it too oily. And of course, I had to set it on a cutting board, so you're not going to see as much oil as I normally would have there, but I had to set up the camera over here and get it focused and everything. So there's our quesadilla. That is pretty simple. I should have had this out before I started over here, but get this centered out. The way I cut these, you can put them on a cutting board and use a knife. I have one of these plastic wheel pizza cutters, and so you can put it right on the plate. You don't have to get your cutting board out. It works relatively well. This was actually a free one from my credit union, and it worked better than the one I bought at the store. So here we are. Melty cheese inside. Ooh, yummy. A little bit of hot pepper flakes in there. Deliciously crunchy. I mean, you can hear it. You can set up an assembly line and crank these things out really well. I have in the past actually put these together, and I usually, and like I said, I use shredded cheese. When I had some tortillas, I was afraid I wouldn't get to use up before they went bad. I would take a tortilla, put some cheese down, put another tortilla on top, microwave it for about 10 seconds, just enough to let the cheese get a little melty, and then put them in the freezer. And then anytime you want a quesadilla, you can pull it out. And the reason I wanted the cheese to get a little melty is because I cooked them in the air fryer, and that kind of works. If you don't melt it a little bit, that top tortilla just blows off. So anyway, this is quesadilla with something you have sitting in your house, which is a frying pan, and it's fast, it's quick, it's tasty, and it's filling. So thanks for watching. Everyone have a great night. Stay safe.